Hello everyone, it's Red with reddragonleo.com and happy Easter to everyone. Today is the day that Jesus risen from the dead, and it's a wonderful time to celebrate his rebirth, I guess you could call it. I guess, is that another birthday for you when you're born again? Do you have two birthdays? I don't know, it's a good question, but in any case, happy Easter, and to everyone, no matter what religion you are or what faith you are, it really does not matter. All the evidence out there does point to Jesus being a real person, an immortal spirit, most likely from the Palladians, the alien race that is humanoid looking, I believe, and are way far advanced than us, and they would have been called angels back then. But regardless of what you believe, it does not matter. It is Easter, and a good time to celebrate and just be at peace and one with yourself, and realize that everyone is the mortal spirit, no matter what religion. It does not matter. We're all mortal spirits. Doesn't matter your color, your sex, your religious views. It really does not matter. So just enjoy it for what it is, folks. Enjoy it for what it is. Okay, on to the markets. As you can see here on the SPY here, we're going to go over this right here. You know, I said last week that I thought we'd have a bullish week this week, and I sure did get slapped in the face with this fake Monday sell-off here, where they basically just released some news to say that the S&P 500 might be downgraded. So it was not downgraded. It was just a rumor, just to tank the market, just to get all these bulls out right here and steal their money, and then let the gangsters get on board down here and ride it back up. So it ended up being a bullish week as I expected, but I did not expect this big of a sell-off, and that one really threw me for a loop. But hey, that's what the gangsters do. You know, they always trick you. So now we're up here at this level right here, and we're up here against a wall of resistance here again, and this is basically looks like the third time. If you just count all this area as one double top, then this will be a triple top basically. So looking at this here on a 60-minute chart, you can clearly see that the move up and trade sideways did put in a bull flag, and in the end they actually did fulfill that bull flag and pop it up. Bull flags, when you make a bull flag, there's no guarantee on how far it can go. Generally speaking, it would go the length of the move up on the flagpole basically. So from here 1300 up to say 1335, roughly, 5 points, you would expect it to pop up to 1340 roughly, but that is not necessarily guaranteed. Bull flags fail, and bull flags play out just a short move too, just like that right there, that one candle until the close as they ramped it higher. That could be simply enough to fulfill the bull flag. But regardless, a lot of people exited all their shorts. I don't think there's any bears left in this move up right here. I mean, this relentless gap up and gap up just absolutely annihilated the bears that went short right here in this support zone. And of course, none of the bears, very few, I won't say none, but I'm sure very few bears went short over the weekend, this Friday after this move up, and expected a Monday tank like that. I mean, that was all planned. That was all planned by the gangsters to not allow the bears on board, so that they could steal the bulls' money and not have to give any money to the bears. And that's what they did. They wiped out the bulls here, and then when the bears seen it, I mean, it was just all big one move down, and then bears didn't even have a chance. Basically, they just got on board right here, thinking there'd be a continuation move the next day. Nope. Not the case, folks. They ran it up, so some more bears got on board here thinking, okay, this is a wave 2 up and there'll be a wave 3 down. Nope, they ran it up and then they gapped it like this. and they just absolutely destroyed the bears. There's no bears left of any significance to support any further move up on a squeeze, because you just squeezed them all out in this move right here. This is, you didn't give enough time for the bears to get on board right here. There's not enough time right here for them to amass a whole lot of bears right there, I don't believe. So right now, I think they've squeezed out all the bears. I think the only bears left right now, there's a new line of bears right here at the resistance level, and there's a ton of them there at this resistance zone 1340 to 1345. I think there's a lot of bears just waiting in that area, and they are looking for a gap up Monday, which is possible. It is definitely possible from this bull flag, but again, that move up into the end, that last 60-minute candle, does fulfill a bull flag. It does not mean that it still can't pop up again, but on a technical basis, the sideways move and then pop into the close does fulfill it on a bull flag pattern. So there's nothing to say at this point that it has to go up again and an equal distance. So my thoughts are that we're going to have the same type move that we did on Monday of last week, that basically we're going to have one of these days. I think that they're going to, wherever they open, I actually think that they're going to gap it down on Monday, but that's just because this worked last time, and why not do it again? The charts would certainly support it. A one-day sell-off would still keep this bullish move intact. You could have a one-day sell-off and really not damage the charts very much, and still continue up the rest of the week, and get on up to the fake print of 138.86 on the SPY. It's very, very possible. I mean, look at this move right here, and you can see that they are still pointing up strongly here on the full stochastics, pointing up on the slow stochastics, pointing up here on the MACD. Histogram bars just barely went into positive. So one day down really wouldn't do much damage to this. It would still allow it to push on up and put in a negative divergence right here. This to push on up, roll over and put in a negative divergence right here, and get our high later on in the week. And so it's very, very possible that we will have a down day Monday, only to reset the charts. They need a 60-minute chart reset. Look at where it's at. This up here at above 5.0, ready to roll over. Now, you can go back and look at a similar situation right here, where on this day, right here when it closed, it was rolling over, right? You look at it, you see it's rolling over. You look, you see that the market did roll over in price level, as well as the MACD histogram bars rolled over too. So you had this up move right here, and then it rolled over. And now pretend you don't see this part right here. And if you looked at this right here and you've seen this rolling over, you'd look down here and you'd see where it's at right here. Here you see it looking ready to roll over again. Where is it at? It's below zero, just a little bit. So it's just call it zero for simplicity's sake. So it's right around the zero mark, ready to roll over. And you're thinking, okay, that's a good short. You're seeing it rolling over here, and you're thinking maybe it's just going to continue the very next day. But it did not. They jammed it up higher and ran it up here to 5.0 the very next day with a big gap, another BS gap to push it up. So they constantly trick you like this. But you got to understand how they did this. They did this while it was at zero, basically, and they still had room to push it on up to 5.0. So they still had more room to push it up. And after they had sold it back down, that was a good, they had to hit right there gap window, not gap fill. They did not fill that gap. They hit gap window and pushed it on up that day and made a second histogram tower and then they sold it off that day. And when you would have seen this up here at 5.0 and seen this kind of rolling over here, especially after this candle, this one right here, and you would have seen this right about here as it's starting to roll over, and it's the second time and it's up here at 5.0. Logic would tell you that it was at least good for a few points down. You know, you could have looked to have shorted it here. You didn't know how far it was going to go down, so it did go down, and you actually go down here and you can see right in here it you know, put in a low histogram tower below, and then dipped, you know, wanted to dip back up. So you would have probably been looking at the full stochastic to see it bottom. Once you've seen it bottom, you would have wanted to have got out. Plus, you would have seen that topping tail or bottoming tail right there. So if you'd have got short somewhere in this area here, you could have rode it down to here and got out maybe on this up move right here and made something decent there, as you'd seen this roll up and realize that, hey, they're going to keep pushing it back up. But this one here was clearly one that faked people out. I don't know what position I was in at that point, or I don't even remember, but it was clearly one that faked them out, because it could have rolled over at 0, but it didn't. It had more pushing power to going up to 5. But after that, after it gets up here to 5 to 7.5, they just don't have a lot left in ability to push it. That's why I don't think that they can push this up any higher Monday, because of where they're already at. They're already up at 5.0. That tells me we should have a similar move like this right here, rolling over, going down. This is about 15 points, 15 or 16 points right here from the peak down to here. I think we could have exactly the same thing on Monday, a move down like that, at least you know, another 15, 16 points like that. That would make sense. You let this roll down, and then put in a low negative histogram tower right here, not too large. It is a Monday, so you can kind of expect the volume to be light. The traders come back from holiday weekend, so they shouldn't be a whole lot. So, you know, if you go from 1337, if you shave 16 points off of that, that'd be at 1320 or 1321 or something like that. So that would be right at gap window again. So there's a strong possibility they could pop this down to gap window right here, very similar to what they did over here, right there, okay, or this one here, same thing. I think that is almost a gap window. There's the close there, and then here's the gap open. So that was again almost a gap window. So they don't fill the gaps, you'll notice there. They just went down to gap window. So you do that, you go down to gap window, and now you've created a new if you draw lines right here, you've created a new wedge that could extend out similar to this one here, maybe not quite as long. So that's my thinking as to what they're going to do on Monday, is to roll it over, and it doesn't have to be a gap down, but it, you know, being light volume, you know, I would expect it to just fall off all day, sell down, and if they can hit that 1320, I think that would be it for the bears. I don't see anything more than that. That would allow them to push this down. This should go down all the way to 20, recycle back up, and this should go down and put in a not too deep, something like this or this, you know, very similar to what it did here. And then that would allow them to put in another right shoulder, putting in a higher low than these over here. You got 1, 2, 3 over here, something like this, shoulders over here. You can't really expect this to just have one shoulder down here. You would expect another move down and then back up, and that would help the bulls get on up there to hit our fake print of 1388 roughly, which is equivalent to the 138.86 SPY fake print. You also got to look at where you're already at. You're already up here on the ADX line. You're pretty extended. I mean, look at this. You're pretty overbought here. The ADX line is up. The green DI line is also falling, and the ADX line is overheated. It's too high. It's too high. It just can't really support that move. Everything to me tells me that this should roll down Monday and then reset itself back up, assuming that the gangsters still want to manipulate this market and run it up higher. And from the looks of it here on the daily chart, it certainly looks like it would support a move to continue up. I just don't expect it to be one daily bar positive and then roll back over. I just don't see that yet. I think that they're going to put several, the whole week probably ought to have some positive bars in it and let it roll over going into May. Let it hit that fake print. That's what I'm saying, because they know they got a ton of overhead stops right here. I mean, you look at all these days right here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of people shorting the market, putting overhead stops right here at this level. You know that's a ton of stops to take out. Once you get up here to this point, it'll easily propel you up to 1388 easily, because there's so many stops sitting there waiting to be taken out. So I definitely think we're going to go up there. And you know, the weekly here, you know, we still got this major trend line right here. We draw right through here, and they need a week up here before they fall back down and break it. So once it finally does roll over, and it's looking like it wants to right here, but once it finally does roll back over and go down and breaks that trend line, I think we're going for a nice move all the way down here in this area here. And but that's a ways off yet. So you know, this is possible. Yeah, this move here is possible, a wave 3 down, but I just don't find it likely. I really think we're going to go down here to about the 1320 if we get that on Monday, or maybe by Tuesday morning, and then recycle back up the rest of the week. You can see here on the 30-minute chart as well, it could go down all day on the full stochastics before it hits 20 and wants to recycle back up. And obviously it would put a much deeper trough low here. It could easily go down to here. And same thing here. You know, you're way up here at 5.0 and you're pointing down. You just don't have the stamina to turn and go back up. I mean, look at the past moves. Have you ever seen it do that? I mean, no, I haven't seen it. You know, once it gets up there to 5.0, it rolls all the way down to at least the 0 line. So we should at least expect to move down to 0. It did it here, it did it here, and of course here it's not as up as high, and so it didn't get quite as low, and it finally worked its way down in the negative territory. But it just doesn't do that. So, and of course when it did this move down here, what it do? Right here, that's where 16-point sell-off was. Same scenario. So that is exactly what I'm looking for on Monday. Now, if it does do an exhaustion gap up based here on the 15-minute chart, 15-minute chart is pointing up and curling up. Certainly they could gap this thing up, but it just doesn't have the power to stay. I can't imagine it hanging on and staying. It should easily roll over very quickly. You know, if you gapped it up here and at 1340 area or whatever, and you let all these bulls get out of their long positions for a nice profit from, you know, the smart bulls, I guess, got in here, but I'd say majority of the bulls probably got in this area in here, and then rode it on up. So yeah, after most of the people would have seen this turn right here if you're a bull and tried to ride it up. So again, it's going to be the same thing right here. If they pop it up, it's your best shorting opportunity in a lifetime, in my opinion. I just don't see any way it's going to hold it above there. It should fall for sure. But again, why would you do that if you're a professional thief? I mean, if you're a Wall Street market maker, why would you pop it up, let the bulls get out safely with nice profit, and let the bears get on? Because they're sitting here waiting at this area for a nice move down, a 15, 16-point move down. Why would you do that? I wouldn't. If I was a gangster like them, I'd gap it down to take these bulls' money that went long here. I'd gap it down, run it on down here to gap fill, let all the bears get on board, and after I took the bulls' money, let all the bears get on board, and then I'd run it up the rest of the week and rob them again, do it twice. You did it here. It's exactly what you did here. Everybody, you know, I expected to move up after this. I expected a gap up again. You know, you go back here and you look at that, and you know, it looked like you could actually draw this line a little differently, and it would have. I think it fell short of actually touching this. This line's been redrawn, but I think it actually fell short of touching it. That's why a lot of people thought it was just going to go up and hit that and then fall back down. I think it was drawing more like this. I don't know. It was off a few points. We should have hit like 1325. So basically they fell short because the line has been redrawn. So the 15-minute chart does support a gap up, but again, you look there. That is the bull flag for field. Here's the flagpole, about 5 points. Again, typical moves up or 5 points. They're going to equal the flagpole, but no guarantees. They could easily just go up just this amount right here. Boom, that's it, and you roll back over. Just that simple. So my thoughts are pretty simple. Any move up, whether it's a gap up, an open flat, and then or a gap down. If it's a gap down, I expect to go down to 1320 area. If it's a flat open, they might hold it up, maybe only run it down to 1330. If they do that, they are really holding this market strong, and they have every intention of popping this thing on up to that fake print of 1388. So, I mean, by this Friday, this coming Friday. So you drop it down to only 1330 and hold it there all day, and let this 60-minute dip down here and reset itself back up for Tuesday, and you can expect them to ram it Tuesday hard, and then the rest of the week as well. So, you know, ideally, I really want to see them move down to 1320. That makes the most sense to me. Whether we get it or not, I don't know. But I'm not expecting a wave 3 down yet. If it happens, it'll be a gift. Regardless, I'm long the VIX, which is short the market essentially. So into Friday, because I just can't see them, even a gap up, I can't see it holding. So, you know, whatever it does, if it only goes down here to 1320, and this goes all the way down here to 20 here on the full stochastic, wants to turn back up, and this rolls down here to about the 0 level, wants to turn back up, hey, you know, that's a nice move to take a little profit from. So you need more than that, you're lucky, but that's what I'm looking for. If it only goes down to 1330, I'm gonna be sorely disappointed and very upset. But that's possible. That's very possible, that they only take it down to that level and hold it there all day until it resets, and then Tuesday it's off to the races again. And that means they're going to be banging on this until they push above it. So whether or not the fake print here is accurate or not, I don't know. Again, I've showed this to you in all the videos right here. 4,290 could mean April the 29th is when they're going to hit this target. That's next Friday. So if you see a move down, again, only to 1330 on Monday, that gives these bulls a lot of firepower. If they hold it there, close a little bit negative, and reset this chart to where it's ready to pop back up again, that gives them a lot of firepower to be able to get up to 1388 by this Friday. So it's very, very possible that could happen. But I'd much rather see a 1320 move. Even with 1320, the way they've been gapping this, just boom, 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 it didn't matter. They did it here. I mean, they dropped it from this 1322 level down to 1298 or 1294. What's that? That's like was that 18 points or something? I mean, they dropped at 18 points, and then in 1, 2, I mean, look how many days they went 30, 37, and 6 is 43 points. They went 43 points in 3 days. 3 days. So you don't think they can get to 1388 even if they dropped it to here? Yeah, they can. Believe me, if they dropped to 1320, they could easily go up another 68 points. Once they get above this area here in 4 days, remember they got 4 days next week. Once they get above this area, they're going to be self-fulfilled fuel from all these bears that got short here. So they're going to just There's going to be plenty. Once it gets below there, above there, man, it's a straight shot up to 1388. So if they drop to 1320, they'd have to run up 68 points by Friday. Well, they did 40 something. What I say, 43 here or something. So yeah, it's possible. It's very possible. Gangsters can do what they want, folks. Remember, they got free money to put in the market, so take your bear chances and get out with a profit if you can, and just keep hanging on, shorting for the little short moves, hoping for a big one. And that's all we can do as bears. A big one is coming, whether it's next month in May or whether it is later this year in October, November. I don't know, but a big move is coming. When it does, it's going to dwarf the 1987 stock market crash or the 1929 stock market crash. It's going to blow them all out of the water. It's going to be the greatest one in history. At least for the bears, it will be. For the average citizen on the street, it's going to be horrible. So keep that in mind, because it's more about helping your fellow man or woman out than it is making money on this. Certainly, we like to make money because then we can help ourselves out and live a better life, as well as help our neighbors out and friends and family. And that's what everyone should focus on doing, is giving. As the old saying goes, for everything you give, you get back 3 times as much in return. So it's better to give than receive. Happy Easter, everyone, and I'll see you on the blog.